Farm for Profit Podcast. Take a listen, have a blast. Farm for Profit Podcast. Learn about farming while having a laugh. Farm for Profit Podcast.
Welcome back to another Farm for Profit Podcast. I don't even know how to do it differently.
What do you mean? That was different than everything else you've ever done.
And it was not smooth.
And why do we have all these fruit flies flying around here?
I know why we have all these fruit flies flying around here.
Because your Fruit Loop?
No, it's our apple from your special day.
It was. I grabbed it Sunday, and it was, my fingers went into it.
It was quite smushy. This is going to be a difficult intro for us because the last time we did this, you said it was 8 minutes long?
Yeah, I went back to hear what my intro was like, and it was of October of 22, recorded at Farm Progress Show, and it was an 8-minute and 6-second long intro. But we were trying beer, so I think we added it on or something, but I was like, boy, this is long.
Yeah, we don't need to be that long today. Listeners, 515-207-9640 if you have a text or voicemail suggestion for us, or you can email us, farmforprofitllc@gmail.com. Especially today's show is going to air during the Farm Progress Show, so if you are there, come find us. We will be everywhere.
Yeah, spending time, as always, with Sukup and John Deere, and then booths in between as well, so come check us out.
And if you're listening to this on the Thursday that it comes out, you missed our after party. We're sorry.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you anyway.
Yep.
So why don't we get into it?
Yep. Today on the Farm for Fun show, we head back to the Eastern Corn Belt to meet up with a past guest of the podcast. He is one of the OGs of social media farmers, where he tells his ag story farming corn, soybeans, popcorn, and wheat from Northwest Indiana. Please welcome Mr. Brian Scott of The Farmer's Life.
Yeah. There he is.
What's up, Brian?
Good morning, guys. How's it going?
Yeah, he just kind of busted our bubble. We've got coffee in our mugs and not whiskey in our mugs. It is a morning
intro,
recording.
That's why this intro is shorter, because it's coffee this time and not beer. So,
Well, I'm excited to catch up. One, it's been fun following your content since we did our last interview, but it's always good to touch base with some of our favorites. How's this year been going for you?
It's going pretty well as far as crops are concerned. It's somewhat shaping up like last year, where we're getting just like 2/10 when we need it, but not anymore, enough to keep the crop going. But yeah, if beans are made by rain in August, I guess we're recording this on the 12th, 0 inches for August. So
I wish I could send you some, because my Snapchat story is basically daily rains, and then if we do happen to get 2 or 3 days with no rain, it makes up for it, a lot. You know, we had 2.3 2 days ago.
Yeah, I had just about 3 inches.
Yeah.
It's been so spotty for how heavy it gets, and Corey's been getting hammered, but I've never seen that much water in my backyard.
Yeah,
it came in a hurry.
And an inch or a half inch right now it just looks like a flood, because we're just at full saturation.
Yeah, not here. Like I did, 2 weeks ago, I got a tree was looking pretty wilty in my front yard. So we have all small trees because we just built our house like 6 years ago.
Yep.
I think the crops right next to the house looked okay because they've got shade and canopy, but the yard was all crispy brown. I took a 5-gallon bucket out and dumped it under that tree, and it just absolutely disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
The next day I took another 5-gallon bucket, and it absolutely just disappeared. I was like, okay, it's pretty dry. But despite that, things look pretty good. Like I said, we get enough to keep it going.
You ready to make that last pass? Listen up. XR5 KSB from Ag Explorer isn't just another jug. It's built to match exactly what your crop wants when it wants it. This isn't guesswork. It's 25 years of boots on the ground, education-first agronomy. These folks walk fields, explain the why, and build programs that actually work. Want to finish strong? This is your pass. Let's go.
Right. So are you far enough north in Indiana that you didn't get all that spring flooding and heavy rains?
Right. That was pretty well Indianapolis south, where I know they got 7 inches a couple of times, I'm pretty sure. And I mean, we've had like 16 inches since January 1st.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you guys are doing pretty good, needing a little bit. I think I saw someone just north of us say we're over 40 inches since we planted, which
Yeah.
it is amazing what the crops look like to say that, because I remember I think it was 2010 we had almost that much, and it was ugly, but it's just weird on the timing, so it'll be interesting this fall. But so you need a little rain, need to finish the crop, but the genetics that we have, at least around here, likes to be a little dry, so hopefully
Same. We find the same. A little dry seems to be better than a little wet.
So Corey mentioned 4 crops in your intro. Did you plant all of those this year?
We did not. I was thinking about that while he was saying it. We skipped wheat last fall, so we didn't have any wheat to harvest this summer. And at $5, I don't know that I'm planting any this fall either. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to have in the rotation. It always plants the next crop good, or get the double crop beans out. But I don't know. Doesn't look too exciting.
So when you don't plant wheat, what did you plant more of?
I asked the popcorn guy the other day. I said, "You probably have no idea how many acres you want, but I give you another 100 acres or so of popcorn if they're there." So put the bug in his ear anyway. So popcorn can make some money. So where wheat is not. So maybe we can add that in.
Are you allowed to tell us where your popcorn goes?
Yeah, we grow for Weaver popcorn, but they package stuff for just like dozens of companies like I don't even see on store shelves around here. So you might be having some anyway. Their market share is pretty large. Don't quote me on this. I want to say it's bigger than Orville at this point.
Oh, I was going to ask if any of it went into Orville's.
Yeah.
So
they're actually like 20 minutes from here also, but we've never grown for them. So
is there a lot of popcorn grown in your area?
right where I'm at, there's a fair amount. Not everybody grows it. It's still somewhat rare, but it's not unusual to drive around and see a popcorn field.
do you have popcorn this year then?
Yeah. Yep. Couple 240 acres this year.
That's a lot of bags of popcorn.
It's a lot of bags.
What is it?
I usually do a post about that. I figure it up. Because I figure there's like 3 ounces in a microwave bag. So I feel like we make like 12 or 15 million microwave bags a year.
Whoa.
That's hard to wrap your head around.
That's a ton of microwave
Yeah, and
popcorn.
they've got growers that grow like 10 times as much popcorn as we do.
So do you go all one hybrid or variety, or?
Yeah, we do. You have a choice. There's some we can't do because they have to be irrigated, and then every hybrid has a different sale price too.
Right.
Really?
Is that on a contract basis per acre, or is that a per bushel?
Right. It can't over or under deliver. They're just contracting the acres, and then it's D's corn price times whatever the multiplier for that hybrid is.
Right. That's kind of wild. Do you have problems with that corn and stand-wise? Does it go down often?
It does, but what we've grown the last few years really has stood really well. Not nearly as tall as some of the older hybrids used to be. They've expanded. They used to do everything in-house, and now they're using some other seed companies and stuff. So there's more to choose from. Things seem to stand pretty well anymore. I posted a picture the other day on a regular cornfield and saying I'm 5'10", and every ear in that field was the bottom was like at the top of my head. So I was like,
whoa.
Let's not get too windy here in the next 6-8 weeks.
Right.
Holy crap.
That's every time a storm comes through here with all this rain, it usually comes with a little bit of wind. I was watching one the other night. I couldn't sleep very good. It was like 3 a.m. I saw it coming out of Omaha, and they were saying 75-mile-an-hour winds. I'm like, we just don't need any more wind. I mean, no rain, no wind. Just go away. Go away.
I was going to say we should ship you out of Maya Cornhead, so that way you don't have to fight that down corn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see your sign back there. Maybe if I lose another gearbox on the brand I run now, I'll have to think about it.
Oh, yeah. We got a deal for you.
Yeah, those don't happen on those. I mean, they can.
Absolutely. I just found that interesting, and it's always neat too catching up with you, because I can't remember if a couple years ago when we did this interview, were you strip cropping your corn and beans then?
No, just tried that this year.
Oh, that's this year only.
Yep.
So explain that process.
So we did it right here at the shop on kind of the main road in our part of the county. So if we screwed it up, everybody would see it, and I'd have to look at it every day. But it looks pretty good. So I've got just we got a big 250 acre field here behind the shop. The west side is like 60 acres. So there's 7 strips that adds up to about 17 acres of corn. So there's 12 rows of corn, and there's 60 foot of beans, and then another 12 rows of corn.
Oh, so I assume you matched 2 bean platform passes, or how'd you decide on the?
Kinda. I did it all in one planter pass to kind of make it easy. I was surprised how easy that was to do once I started poking around in the monitor. I was like, oh, this will let me. I told it there was different seed plates and different rows, and I actually ran 3 different corn populations. So the outside rows are like 40,000. Next 2 inside are 36, and the middle 4 rows are at 32,000. Whether that's right or wrong, but just some suggestions from other people. And I did 12 rows because it matches our corn head. I have been told some people said for that sunlight capture, don't do more than 8. So maybe next year I'll try 8 if we do it again.
Right.
So I'm trying to do the math then. So if he's 60 foot of beans in the middle, so does that mean you've got an 80 foot planter?
No. Oh, it ain't. No. 60 foot planter.
24
So
row.
I tested my memory. I skipped rows while I was planting, and then
gotcha.
double back to fill in the rest of the beans.
Got it.
So I'm going to be taking a 40 foot swath of beans and then a 20 foot, which will be.
Yep.
That's why we did it on a small space. So it'll be a little bit annoying, but not that big.
So your end rows are beans?
The end rows are all beans.
I've always wondered, how do you handle it herbicide-wise?
So if we do it next year, I'll probably just get enlist corn. We had Liberty corn this year. So they actually, when they came with the sprayer, they just sprayed the corn and beans the same. They got Roundup Liberty and a residual over the top of them back in June. So
okay. And no pre-emergent?
There would have been. We had it burned down like at planting.
Oh, burned. I got you.
So the only thing they did different on post than the rest of our beans was they took the enlist out.
Right. So, but yeah, going with Corteva's enlist technology on the corn, that would allow you to make that pass a little easier, I guess.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to change the tank mix at all from what was done on all the rest of the bean acres. So that was pretty easy.
What information do you need to learn from the combine to get you to do more acres next year?
It needs to yield a bunch more. I'll see.
A bunch more.
I'll see how getting through with the bean head is. My Pioneer dealer has been doing this for a few years, and I didn't take his suggestion. I was out there. I think our dripper will get through. He said he started shutting off the first bean row because he was having trouble not pushing the cord. Not close to it. But I think ours will sneak through.
I didn't even think about that part of it.
Yeah. I had a guy on Facebook the other day. He was like, good luck not smashing all those beans with the grain cart when you harvest the corn. I was like, well, I was planning on cutting the beans first.
Yeah. Right.
It is like a 2/3 of a mile row, so I'm not going to get to the other end. So.
But next year, if you choose to try it again, you're going to try to rotate those, and then your corn will be on the end rows?
No, I don't even know what field I'll do it.
Oh, okay.
No, I think it'd still do all beans on the end rows, just early maturity and get them out of the way so we know they're there. And I might try, because I planted with the planter until I ran out of beans. Then we put the corn plates in those rows and refilled, put corn in those rows and blocked off the central fill. I've never tried this, maybe plant with simulated headlands and not plant the indros first.
Oh yeah,
So then,
I've heard that.
yeah, so it should work if I got good boundaries, I guess.
In theory, yeah. Make sure your boundaries are good.
Yeah, so I could just start the year with a clean planter and go, and then vacuum out the corn and switch plates and go to town on the rest of the beans.
Speaking of cleanliness, so I wanted to go back to the popcorn. Do you like try to start harvest on your popcorn so you're all clean, or do they care much about that?
Yeah, so it definitely has to be clean. You're allowed like 5 kernels of corn in a truckload.
In a truckload?
Yeah, when they sample it.
So you're allowed 5 kernels of corn for every 25,000 bags of popcorn.
Something like that, yeah. But no, we've never been rejected for corn. The only time we've ever gotten rejected popcorn was aflatoxin in the 2012 drought, and that was like everybody had that problem. So,
yep.
But yeah, we clean because we grow waxy corn, which is kind of a big deal in this neighborhood too. And we grow 2 varieties of beans for seed, so we're cleaning stuff all the time. We're pretty used to it.
Yeah. What does that waxy corn go to? Because we don't get very much of that around here. I know there's some by Cedar Rapids.
They make candles out of it?
Yeah. They make all kinds of stuff out of it. Industrial stuff and adhesives, and that goes into a bunch of foods and different things. So it goes to a wet milling plant that's pretty close to here. So when we get a pretty good premium on that. They told us at a grower meeting a couple years ago that the demand went up quite a bit during the pandemic because it goes into the glue that's in cardboard boxes. And Amazon's business went up so much, the demand for boxes was so much higher, so the demand for waxy corn went up.
That's interesting. That, if I remember right, that stuff doesn't dry down very good, or doesn't dry in a dryer very good.
It can dry down in the field. It can take a little longer. I don't think that's maybe as true as it used to be, and the yields have caught up as well. Mm-hmm. So we don't push it. We did one time, tried some 28 to 30%. I think I don't know, the ethanol plant had like a no drying thing or something, like first week of September or something like that one year. And it's after remounting the clean grain elevator belt 3 or 4 times, we quit doing that.
Yeah.
Because it's sticky.
Really? Interesting. Huh. So last time we had you on, we talked about your blog and YouTube channels and all that. And why I wanted to go back in the intro, I wanted to see where we were at. You've grown pretty good growth since then in just 3 years. So you're obviously still beating that trail, right?
Yeah, still out there. Sometimes I'm like, I could just give this up, but I haven't so far. I'd still say I haven't cracked the YouTube nut quite yet, and I know it's from being consistent. I just don't do that one video a week. The numbers have grown a lot.
In 22, you had 9,600 YouTube followers, and you have 40,000 now. So that's still pretty good growth.
That's pretty good, but I'm going to say some of that's not real. And I've seen other creators on their YouTube accounts mention this. So I posted a short, which this was weird for a short. It didn't do anything, and then it took off like a month later. This was probably 2 years ago. So I had that 9,000 some followers. Almost all of that next 30,000 came from that one short.
Really?
Yeah. And there was another one that it went viral for like a year. So like 15 million views or something like that is what it
was it about?
Well, it's funny because it's like I didn't have the follow-up to it because it didn't go viral fast enough. So we had a sinkhole out in the field, and we took the backhoe out and dug it up, and we found a tile that we didn't know was there. I mean, just by the materials and stuff, it looked like it's probably at least 100 years old. And just all this water came rushing out and filled the hole, like those drainage videos where guys are unplugging the sewer or something are really popular. Right. So it just, it just caught on and went crazy. And I was like, oh, I wasn't there the day it got repaired or anything. So like I didn't have any follow-ups. I was like, God, crap. Like I could have followed up on that. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. But it seems like the shorts follows. I had somebody say like on shorts, people hit the subscribe button and use it like a like button. And it definitely, it does not translate to long-term or long-form views.
Yeah, we struggle with that, getting a substantial number of long form, but of course our long form is 50 minutes plus. We'll put this whole thing out. We've thought about doing our editor was suggesting 15 and 20-minute cuts. If there's a good portion of an interview, just do that as well to see if you can retain as far as that goes. It's a long time to sit there and watch YouTube for an hour, but people do it.
Yeah, it is. You take out the 8-minute intro.
We're getting better at that.
Yeah. I have challenged Tanner. It needs to be under a minute, or we just don't need an intro at all. We just jump in. I listen to several podcasts that it just like starts in the middle of a conversation.
Yeah. Or I used to have a little animated logo at the beginning of my videos for like 3 seconds, and I took that out. Just the more like YouTube podcasts and stuff I listen to, they're like, just get to the point.
Just go.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a production. That's the glory of social media. So, heck yeah. So, I mean, I've seen you've done some partnerships with like Corteva has been one of the ones you were talking about in one of your most recent videos. How has that been?
Yeah, that's been good. I continue to do stuff with brands, and Corteva that's a new one this year. That's kind of fun. I've had some history with them in the past, but not really on social media, and know some people there over the last 10, 15 years. It's an Indiana company, so it's kind of nice to get together with them and work on some stuff.
Yeah.
So for our listeners that are curious about how those relationships start, for you, it sounds like you knew somebody, right? You'd done something locally in the past, or how do relationships like that blossom?
Yeah. So far, I'm not going to say every, maybe there's a couple small ones I reached out on early on, but my substantial ones I do now they came to me and asked me to do something. And some of them I knew somebody ahead of time, some I didn't. I've always made it like, it's either gotta be something I'm using on the farm already or something I'm thinking about using. So that's just, I'm trying to keep it, any of my sponsored posts, like my goal is it needs to look like all my other posts.
Right.
Well, it makes sense. And that's kind of how I pick things as well. Like I told Tanner, I don't want to be a shill for something I don't believe in, that I haven't tried, or I'm not interested in trying. It needs to be authentic. So,
yeah. And I've done a couple of like smaller campaigns early on, and it's just like I'm sitting there like, oh, I got to do the post now. It's like, man, I'm just not in it. I should have just said no to this. Like, I just feel, if I feel like I'm forcing writing the post or making the video like this, I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, and that's usually a telltale sign. That's a pretty good idea.
It's obvious to see it. Yeah, you can tell.
And the brands don't want that either. The smart brands don't want that either.
Right.
Yeah, and it's pretty surprising. Like you get the contracts and you read them, you're like, oh man. But usually, like when you're actually doing it, they don't care as much as what the actual wording of the contracts is.
Yeah.
It's a little more loose. It seems.
No, I think the Corteva partnership makes sense. I mean, just your video that you did recently with them, that your grandparents were using Pioneer seed, and then you came well before you came back to the farm, and it just that legacy, and which is, I mean, we have a soft spot in our heart as well, because that's right down here in Johnston, Iowa, which is about 15 minutes away,
right?
Which is pretty cool that 2 states away that kind of have the same story as a lot of people around these parts.
Right. Yeah. We also saw, since we chatted last, you did a grain setup renovation.
Yeah, that was a a big deal. We built, gosh, we got some pictures here in the shop and like some of the grain bins and stuff. So we did a build where we took a couple like government bins from 1969 down to put up a couple bigger bins, and then we did this build in 2023, and I was like, I almost felt bad. I was like looking at some of these old pictures, like I tore everything down that was there. It was worth it. It wasn't fully running until about halfway through corn harvest of 23. So last fall was the first time we got to use it fully with the new dryer and everything, and we were harvesting corn at a rate we have never done before, which was surprising because we were definitely limited by our bin system.
That's interesting. I feel like every time someone does a bin project, it's not done until halfway through harvest.
Well, yeah.
Like, does anybody ever get one done in June?
No. I don't think so. It's always pushing into it. Feels like anyway. But
yeah, we sign up for it, and it's like, yeah, we'll be pouring concrete the first warm day in March, and it's like, okay, it's
no.
June. Where's the concrete at? Like,
yeah. Yeah, you talking about tearing everything down, man, that we did that a couple years ago. You can go 23, you can go back and look at my videos. We had to tear an old corn crib down, and that hurt.
Yeah.
It was, we didn't use it anymore besides storing a couple wagons in and, just nostalgia. But man, the thing was in the way, and it just, I'm glad I took videos of it so I can show my kids and they can have it. It's all a document.
And now everything here at the main site, we got 4 bean bins that are like ancient at another location. But all the corn now, every bin has a power sweep. Everything reclaims back to a leg. We don't need to get the tractor and the auger out. You're climbing in and out, trying to load truck and all that. So that's my goal. Like long term, let's be like safer and keep our hearing and keep our lungs and all that kind of stuff.
That's pretty nice when you can start running it like a business, because I assume if everything reclaims, you can start mixing and blending and doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we can if we need to. It makes it a little easier.
I wonder how many of our listeners have some of those same and similar feelings. If they sit there and wonder, I can't tear this down because it was Grandpa's. And how much better would their operation be? The flow of traffic, even just being able to drive or extend a driveway around something because you knocked over an old garage.
I don't think I'd ever feel bad if it was a government bin, because I have no care for those things. They piss me off. But things that were hand built, like a crib or a shed or that kind of stuff, that hurts.
Some of those old farm shops, you didn't have doors big enough to get the equipment in now.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, we used to have a crib. We tore that down, and we stored corn in it up until we tore it down. And I don't know. I don't miss. So there was, like corn up in the rafters.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't miss shoveling those square corners out.
Nah, I agree. I was always happy when it was beans in the overhead. At least then it felt like it moved easier to the middle.
There was still oats in the corners of one of the overheads, and I don't know that I've ever seen oats on our farm. I know we used to grow them well before and they were still in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Did you try to save? Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
No, I was going to say, now getting to the point talking about tearing the old historical stuff down. I'm in a spot where like my dad's perfectly fine and healthy. He's trucking right now while I'm doing this. So he's 72, I'm 45. My oldest says he wants to farm, just started sophomore year of high school last week. And there is some other infrastructure stuff I'd like to do, but it's like I don't want to spend all Dad's money if he's not going to, be here forever, which none of us are. I'm like, but there's also enough of a gap. I'm not really sure if the next generation's coming on. Like, do I want to spend my money?
Right.
And building some more shed space, or maybe getting some liquid fertilizer storage, that kind of thing. Like, because I I used to always say I was never going to retire, and now I'm like, I don't know. If neither of the boys decide to do it, I could, because we own most of what we farm. I was like, I could rent everything to the neighbors and make a pretty good living, and drive grain cart in the fall to keep myself entertained or something.
It's interesting, the conversations that we get to have with producers. And I would say between your age, our age, there are a lot more folks that are planning to retire. Where, like you said, your dad's generation, I don't think anybody plans to retire.
Not a lot.
Right. Now, my
I'd have to-
grandpa was still trucking at 89. And he would tell people, how you doing? He's like, oh, I'm halfway okay. And I'm like, okay, when I'm 55 years older than I am now, if I can still drive a semi every day, I'll be doing all right. I'm pretty sure.
Retirement can look, and it's just ironic you bring this up, because the show that airs the Monday before your show comes out is our first ever take on, let's try to give our listeners tools to be able to retire. We've done succession planning conversations often, but we've never really said or provided any advice on what do you need to do now to prepare to actually retire down the road.
Right. And for me, I know not doing something, like I would just rot on the couch. I'm sure. Like, I've got to have something to go do, or like, I could retire from farming. And it's like, but the field behind the house and the two at the shop, I could screw around, farm that myself. And
retirement can look like a lot of different things. Like I said, I have the vision right now, just like you said. Retirement for me is I just show up to drive whatever I want to drive when I want to drive it.
Right.
If I want to play golf on Tuesday, I go do that. But if I want to be at the farm on Wednesday, great. That's exciting.
I think what I've seen with my dad and my grandpa was their hobby was farming. So even if they did retire, what do they go do? So do you have other hobbies off the farm?
Yeah, we do. Travel and go to events and stuff. And yeah, my grandpa was kind of the same. The joke is kind of when we were doing the estate and all that, we're like, we did the books. We know how much money he made. He never went anywhere or did anything. Like, where's all the mason jars buried in the backyard? Where is all this money?
Well, you said you farm all the land that you own, or you own most of the land that you farm.
Close,
so
yeah.
It is in the dirt.
Yeah, that might be true. I think everybody has those stories. Like, there's 200 acres a mile from here that we passed up for $100, and next time we passed it up at $600.
Yeah.
Have you grown the land base at all since we spoke 3 years ago? Maybe I've shrunk slightly, because we are furthest away rentals. We had two of them. We still have one, 78 acres up there. It's our sandiest, toughest ground. And we had another 160 we farmed adjacent to that. We rented for 30 some years. But we had the opportunity to buy a nice 108 that's around the corner from the shop versus 12 miles away. So we gave up that 160 to make that one. We probably get more crop off the 108 than the 160. And it's right here close to home. So we may do that with that other piece when the right thing comes up. So I would say we've increased our percent of ownership, but we farm 60 less acres maybe than the last time I talked to you.
What a special opportunity for you listeners. Now through the end of August, we have the Maya 3x3x3 campaign.
What's 3x3x3?
You get 3% financing, 3-year parts and warranty, or the third option is if you want to pay cash, you get 3 different kinds of discounts.
Yeah, you can get $5,000 off of an 8-row, $7,500 off a 12-row, or $10,000 off a 16-row from Maya Cornheads. Go to mayacornheads.com or slide into our DMs and we'll hook you up with the closest dealer.
I feel like Farm for Profit needs to sponsor Brian. He's doing Farm for Profit thing.
Yeah, he's like, okay.
Well, who was it? Somebody had on X the other day. Maybe Shafel. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know if it's him or not. Somebody posted about what's everybody doing to cut costs in 2026? And I said, does this count? I said, we pay off a mortgage in December. And that cuts my land cost by $27 an acre, or for the whole farm. So
Right.
I don't,
That's a big thing.
making $27 without doing anything.
Right.
But then, like my wife will say, but yeah, but then in the winter when it's land for sale time, maybe it ends up going up $27 an acre.
Right. So as someone that maybe wants to grow the land base, or I have the opportunity to purchase, are you purchasing at auction? Are they listings? Are you getting landlords that are coming to you, or neighbors?
Yeah, so I don't know if this is a little unique. I have been the second to last person to raise my hand quite a few times. And not win. We did that twice.
They
This
call
past-
that
past
the loser.
Yeah, second place, first
That's
loser.
reserve champion.
Oh, it's
Reserve champion. That's right. I call it. I didn't have to take the loan out.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing Dave is there.
Yeah.
He could give me a hard time. But I came back to the farm in 2009. I have never rented a piece of ground. I've bid on a bunch and gone up a little over where we're comfortable at, hoping we get it long term. I have never rented a new piece of ground. So what we've rented since like 1990.
Wow.
And I haven't won an auction. Thought I won this winter, but the internet won at the last second, which is kind of
Funny how
annoying.
that works.
But yeah, so everything we have bought back to 2009 when I came back was literally somebody walked in here one day. It's like,
Really?
hey, I got this piece. Are you guys interested? Which I don't know. To me, maybe that says something about the way we conduct ourselves. Maybe that people are willing to walk in here and offer it to us.
Have you ever, anyone that walked in the door, have you ever said, I just can't make it work?
That 108 we bought.
Yeah.
So he came to us, I guess that's probably 5 years ago because we bought it 3 years ago. Came to us, it was like 9,000 an acre, and we're like, nah. And our neighbor that's a half mile down the road was the one that had been renting it for a long time. So I even went to him and I was like, hey, so and so stopped by. Like, we're not trying to take anything. He's like, oh no, he stopped by here, and I wasn't going to pay that much money. It's fine. And so then 2 years go by, and he comes back at still the same price. And you know how farm prices were going, like, oh, well, that's a deal. You know,
Yeah.
2 years ago it was too much. I'm like, oh no, that's a good deal. We'll do that. So that's how we ended up with that one.
Oh, it's funny. Time heals all wounds
It
are late.
does. It does. I ask because I just have my own personal battles that we're dealing with here. We got offered one that's for, in my opinion, for too much. But talking to Dave and Tanner about it, if it went to auction, it would bring that much or close to it. So is that too much, or are we just being?
And what are you going to think it is in 5 years? You're like, oh, glad I bought it at that price.
See, that's the thing is like it is at the prices of 2 years ago, which corn was $6-7. It still didn't cash flow. It never cash flows, but like you could soften the blow quite a bit. Now with corn with a 3 in front of it, it really doesn't work, and it's in the wrong direction. We have a lot of town influence, so a lot of inflated prices from speculators and investors, and but it's the wrong direction for that. So I don't know. It's tough, but at the same time, you don't get offered farms very often. Dave would sit here and go, it what's a farm sell once every 70 years or something like that, and so you got a lifetime.
Yeah, and I've said, we're not the biggest in our neighborhood, and we're not the smallest either. And I don't know if this is a little odd or not, just looking around my immediate area, pretty much all the major players here have someone my age that's farming or a little younger. So yeah, stuff that sells right now, it's locked up for a long time.
Yep.
Yeah, it just makes you wonder what the future of farming looks like. You talk about X, right? And Twitter can sometimes be a toxic place these days for agriculture, which is fine. We get that, but there's a lot of good conversations out there about farm transition and where the future of this is going. And a lot of people have some very strong beliefs of it's going a lot the autonomy route, and it's going the opposite direction of, no, we're going to desegregate, and just interesting.
Yeah.
We always have these ebbs and flows between inputs, and we're growing commodities, right? So it is, it's always the quickest to the bottom. So we're going to have really good years. We're going to have really bad years. If we have too many good years in a row, inputs and everything else will come up. But we're in this like phenomenon right now that cost of living and insurance, like not just crop insurance, but like just property insurance, property casualty, all that kind of stuff. I think Ben Rand had something on there. Last night I was reading his insurance since he started and wherever he's at in 2020 has gone up 350%.
Wow.
And just the cost to do all business, like I feel like we're going to come to a head here at some point, and something's got to give. And I don't know what that is.
Yeah, and I think there's like growing sentiment online anyway. It seems like quit giving us these relief programs.
Yeah.
It's like all it's doing is propping all that up. It's like it's not a secret that we have the cash. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, God, it is tough, and we sit here and say, well, if they're there, you got to take them, because if you don't, you're at a disadvantage. But yeah, you're right. I would love to see a more of a level playing field.
we were at the attorney's office yesterday. We're in the middle of some windmill talk in our area. So do you do it or you not do it, and all that? You don't do it, and that turbine sits across the fence. It's right there anyway.
Yeah.
That's a perspective we've not covered on here. We've had conversations from both sides of the table, from wind power. Some it saved the farm for the family.
Right.
Others they thought it was the worst decision their family ever made. But it's an interesting perspective of, if you don't do it and they're going to be in your backyard anyway,
or you're at a disadvantage.
At least, just get to check
and
your
you're
stuff.
going to be the second to last one to raise your hand at the auction, because the guy across the fence has the wind turbine.
Right.
I don't know. These two out here that sit east of town,
it's just,
they are spewing oil. Like I was like, man, they're rusting away, and then someone's like, no, that's oil. I'm like, how can they still operate like that?
There's a few, because there's hundreds of them 20 minutes west of me along 65, and you see a few of those black masts out there.
Yeah,
you can spot the ones that leaked. And there's we're not in that path, but there's 4,000 or 5,000 acres of solar pretty close to here. That's been fairly contentious, but I mean, I heard numbers like $3,500 an acre. I mean, that's pretty hard to say no to.
Yeah, every 2 or 3 years, you could buy another piece of ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Yeah, that's you can hate it all you want, but that's a number that's hard to not think about.
Yeah, nobody's asked us that yet, so we'll see. My mom says we are not doing it. So
I think there's going to be a lot of fans of your mom from the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, I kind of like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to live at the houses that are across the road from it. It's kind of ugly to look at, but at least it went through like a truly like the landowners. It wasn't an eminent domain type deal or anything like that. So I'm kind of like, no, I don't like to look at them, but landowners need to be able to do what they want to do with their own ground at the same time. So, I mean, it doesn't hardly make a dent, but like it's less corn acres. I mean, do we need more corn?
We've got too many corn acres as it is. We do need more power. I mean, does it make sense without subsidies? I mean, you can say some of the same stuff about, ethanol, right? That's one of the biggest arguments of, it's only propped up by subsidies, but man, it's tough. And it always seems like it's either all one way or all the other. And I feel like we have a pretty level head talking about it sometimes. We have our beliefs, but at least be able to talk about it. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
What are you most excited for this harvest?
I'll just get out there and see what's going on. We've got a new combine. And try that out. It's I don't know the last time we had a brand new one. We got a brand new one.
It's brand new. What color is it?
It's still green, still the John Deere green. So it was we were actually going to probably not trade combines. So the last 4 years we have bought the same guy's 1 year old
Okay.
with about 420 hours on it or so, and we put 225, 250 a year on it. So we're like, that thing, like, well, we're not going to trade, but it wouldn't hurt to find out what the numbers are, just at the end of the year, whatever. And then they came back. They had a combine at a different location they had gotten for stock last September that didn't sell in 2024. And I wouldn't say I need all these things, but it has about $30,000 more stuff than we're used to having. And we got it for slightly less than we would have paid for that used gun.
Wow.
So we're kind of like, okay, let's do that. I still think payments are stupid. And the problem is we kept doing this trade because Deere had 0% interest for the first year. So our first payment was 100% principal. But stuff inflated faster than you could pay the principal. So it's like we were paying 100% principal on this giant payment and still don't have any equity in the machine.
Right.
So we weren't going to do that again, but then like we can run this one for 3 years and be at the same hours we've been running 1 year and at least have a warranty for the first year. So we'll see. It had duals on it, but it's sitting here in the shop now. It has our tracks on it from the previous combine, so that was part of the deal too.
So a big Trax fan, or what's the benefit for you do you see out of Trax?
We got into a track combine in 2021, and I said, since we've traded every year for the last 4 years, people ask me how I like them. I said, I haven't had a set long enough to break anything. So far, I really like them. I think the only negative I have is like when you're on an end row, if you're on previous track or the track of another vehicle, you will get a little chatter when it's running through that chevron pattern. We haven't really had a super wet fall, but I've been through some ponds and we're all no-till. I can't tell where I drove the combine through those ponds when I have to do that since we've had the tracks. On the road, all that bouncing and power hop is completely gone. It's so much smoother on the road, especially when we're toting around a 12-row folding corn head with all that weight on the nose. I mean, it's other than initially making the jump to purchasing a track combine, I have zero problems with tracks. But knock on wood, I have not broken a set of tracks yet.
So is it a 780 or 90?
It's a 780. Okay. There's times, especially I'd say in beans more than corn, where I wouldn't mind that extra 70 horsepower or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're getting some pretty solid, like 80 bushel beans, 40 foot wide. You can make it grind pretty good.
Well, the problem that I have seen is even if it's not that great of yields, I've thinned my stand far enough that I got little tree trunks for stems on my beans. So it's a lot of power.
We average 100,000 anymore. So we're getting some of that, and it seems like green stems are getting to be a pretty normal thing anymore. And yeah, you can definitely make it work.
Mm-hmm. So are you going to be coming out to see us here at the Farm Progress Show that we're releasing the show on, or you don't know yet?
Yeah, I might. We'll see if I missed the after party or not. We'll see. I got to check. I got to check the cross country schedule. Would be the main thing. Yeah. And then, so that's beyond harvest. The big things will be, we got a 9-year-old be soccer every Saturday morning. There'll be cross country every Saturday and marching band competitions. So,
what instrument?
Trumpet.
Trumpet.
You
You were a big band guy, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Did you play trumpet?
I played trumpet. My wife and I are the co-presidents of the band boosters at the moment, so we're pretty busy with that. We went
Ah.
we went to, we're gonna get geeky now.
Uh-huh.
We were in Indianapolis this past week for the Drum Corps World Championships to go watch that. So down
I
in
think
Lucas
that
Oil.
would be cool, right? What was that movie? Drumline?
Oh yeah.
That was a cool
Yeah.
movie.
I mean, if you're into it at all, so if people don't know, like, so Drum Corps, DCI, this is like my one regret. Like, I never tried out for DCI. Like after high school, I should have done that. Maybe the ages have changed, but the top corps, so the world class corps, there's other versions of it, like 18 to 22-ish year olds. So it's like all summer, like it's close to like professional competitive marching band as you're gonna get, and it's really impressive that the stuff that they do. It's pretty wild.
That is cool.
I slightly jealous. I had never, I played a little bit of bass drum, right, in the school band.
That's the big one.
That's the big one, right?
Mhm.
You just had to kind of count
Yeah.
somewhat at the right time. But it always is fascinating to me when someone's good at a musical instrument and can just, it's like they just have a third hand and can do whatever they want to with it.
Yeah, I remember playing saxophone and getting pretty good at it, and then I got more involved in sports and kind of had to make a choice of where I wanted my time to go, and I chose sports. And
Yeah, we're getting close to that. So I did. It's funny, we didn't push him into any of this stuff, other than he must be better at basketball because he's playing high school basketball and I didn't. My oldest does like everything I did. He plays the trumpet, he plays the piano, he runs distance. So we're doing all the same. So I did the same thing of cross country and marching band at the same time. I got lucky, I guess, for 4 years and never had a conflict. We had one Saturday where we were forced to make a choice last year. So 3 more years, hopefully we'll not get forced into those choices too much. He would love to be the drum major. And I've kind of told him, like, your guy that was a senior when you first started, he ran cross country and quit to be the drum major. It's like, it's one thing. I said, it sucks because he's good at both.
Yeah.
So he was a varsity runner as a freshman. So it's like, you're kind of screwing your cross country team if you don't show up, but you're also screwing the band if you don't show up on Saturday. And drum major would be quite a bit like if the guy directing the band, even for rehearsals, because they do Saturday rehearsals too. The drum major can't really like not be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. And I don't have such great specific memories of being a kid, but my wife and I have had conversations about our girls, and they're young. It's like, when did you have to choose as a kid what you wanted to major in? It just seems anymore these days that you can't play all 4 sports. You can't do band and marching band and jazz band and play a sport. It seems like anymore. Maybe it's because I was in a smaller school to where you could just do everything because they needed you physically. Like they just needed a body.
Yeah.
But anymore these days, I feel like it's robbing the kids a little bit of that ability just to go and have fun experiencing it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gotten really specialized.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah, the one we got forced into, we were cross-country regionals were up almost at the Michigan border, and marching band would take the field for semi-state an hour later, but 3 hours away. So that wouldn't happen. And even cross-country coach kind of made the decision because there was a couple guys in band, and now there's 4 this year that are in band. He's like, hey, this is like the toughest regional in the state. We're not getting out of it. So go to band.
Yeah.
Because we ended up not making it, but we have a chance to go to state in band. So we did 2 years ago and didn't quite make it last year. So I keep telling all the kids this year, I said, this falls the revenge tour.
Yeah.
Trying to make it back to Lucas Oil again.
Well, the third time that Brian comes on, I expect a trumpet intro.
We should have
Sorry, man.
played the one with that pitcher that walks out from
Oh.
the Major League Baseball team.
Yeah,
Can't think of that
I
now.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we'd get too many copyright issues. We can't do that. Well, Brian, it's been a pleasure, and I know there'll be a third one because it was just as fun, if not more fun, this second time than it was. If our listeners don't follow you yet or want to look you up, how best do they grab your channels?
Yeah, just look up The Farmer's Life. You'll find me on one of them.
Awesome. That's been great. Corey, what do you tell the listeners?
Thanks, Corteva, for this interview, and crack a cold one. You deserve it.